Today, I will instruct you on the basic techniques of skiing. So, if you have any slight interest in this, I'd highly suggest you perk up because this is some really good information, and with skiing can be very dangerous, so there are some definite tips that you need to know before you get out there. But it's a really fun sport, and I highly suggest you try it out. So, if you follow these steps, you should definitely not end up like this, which I will show you on this slide. This is a common problem caused by people who do not take the proper steps or proper training from a regulated instructor to receive information that won't make you do that. That's basically all you need to know about skiing, is to not do that, because that hurts. Now, if you look at this, there's some obvious danger in skiing, as I'm showing here by this slide, because there's so many risk factors involved when you get on a slope. It's almost like driving. When you're driving a car, there's people next to you in different lanes who can probably merge into your lane at nary the slightest notion and cut you off or crash into you and cause a lot of wrecks. Now with skiing, you're not protected by a car. Now sometimes cars can be more dangerous, but with skiing it can be even more dangerous, because if you're on a very narrow hill and there's a sharp decline on either side of you and there's trees everywhere, then if someone crashes into you, most likely you're going to either go off the hill or hit a tree, and there have been many instances where people die from that. So I'm going to show you some things that will help you get started skiing and have a great time. So here's some steps to succeed. Obviously, the first of all is safety, but I can't really explain that without first showing you some basic techniques. So here we have the ski boot. This is where you start off. So what you're going to do is you're going to go into a ski lodge after you get to the slopes. You go in that lodge and you'll probably see either a sign or something directing you to rentals. And your first stop at rentals will be to get boots, although some places make you get skis first, but hopefully they'll make you get boots first, because that's a better option, because you can't really know what ski you want without getting the boot. Like if you get snowboarding shoes, for example, you can't really get a head start on it. So, also, I'm sorry if you want to snowboard, I know nothing about that. But, here's the ski boot, and with me today I've also brought one, and this is my own boot here. And with this I'll show you some easy steps to get yourself situated and ready to ski. So the first thing you need to notice about these boots is that they have straps like this that come off and adjust to different ridges, as you can see right in here. So this is the toe strap, and it's a very important one because you don't want your toes to wiggle around, because the control of your skiing is all in here. Even from your toes, everywhere is important. So what you want to do is you want to get this tight, but you don't want it to be too tight to where you're strangling your feet and losing circulation. So it's a very fine line between losing your blood circulation and having it snug. So typically I put the toe attachment here at one of the highest ridges, because I find my feet can be very small and thickness wise, and these boots are a little too big for me, so I kind of put it up. So you want to first start out with putting it at a very high stress. So around up here you'll get it very tight on your toes, and if it's too tight you just have to take it off. So to pressure it down, you just take your hand right here and just push down on this binding, and it'll snap in place like that. And now to take it off, you just put your finger under here and lift up and adjust to a different one. Now sometimes your bindings can get stuck a little bit, but you just need to use some brute force. That's all there is to this. But now with these upper bindings here, these work a little differently, so take a close look. So these are straps with little ridges that insert themselves into these little holes here. So what you do is you press on this little switch, and this insert here will go right into that hole. You have to press down on this thing and just slide it in there. And you adjust it to whatever the tightness you need, and then just pull back on this. And now to release it, you just pull up on that, you press down on this button, and you just take it out. Just like that. So the boots are really simple. So you just put them on, just like that, and then you adjust your bindings and you're all set. So next thing, I want to talk about the skis. This is a really important part. Now if you look at my skis here, they're pretty long. which is definitely not what you want for a beginner. See, these come up to about my eyebrows, and this is while wearing shoes, which probably increase my height by a few inches. So you want these to be, for beginners, at around your neck height, neck and shoulders, so around here, because shorter skis will enable you to have more control. Longer skis give you more speed, but take away some of your control, and that's definitely not what you want for a beginner, because if you have too much speed and too little control, you're going to crash, guaranteed. Now, if you look at the skis, especially on this slide here, you'll see there's also a binding on these skis. And now if you look at my skis, there's a very similar binding, and this is how most skis will work. Now back in the 70s and 60s, the skis were very different and much more, well, less safe, just to be frank. But now we have advanced bindings that will help your boots stay in place and let you ski safely. So, if I take a boot here, you can put it right on the bindings. So what you want to do first is you want to focus on your top binding. And what you want to do with your boot when you have it on is it needs to go into this slot right here. It'll fit right in there, and then what you can do is using the power of your heel, you can push down on this back part and it'll go in. And I don't want to do that right now because my skis might bend too much. You really have to be on the slopes for this to work. So what you want to do, once you're out on the slopes, you get your skis, you walk out there first with your boots on, you take your skis and you'll just put them down. Just put them down on the ground, just like this. So say this is flat right here. So say this is a flat hill, you just put your skis down parallel and you'll take both your feet and just put them into your skis like this and press down with your heel on this part, and they should click in. And now another thing to know about skis is that there's different types of bindings. We have what we call type 1, type 2, and type 3. So my skis are type 3 bindings, which means that it's very hard for the boots to become disattached with the skis. So say if you're in a wreck, if you're a beginner and you get in a crash, you want your skis to come off. Because if you have skis on, it's going to make it dangerous while you're falling, and your skis could go who knows where and probably hit you. So if you're a beginner and you crash, you want your skis to fall off, so you want to get what are called type 1 bindings. And that means that your boots will disattach from your skis very easily, which will make it more safe when you fall. Because as a beginner, you're naturally going to fall a lot. It's part of the process with skiing, but it's also very enjoyable. So if I go to the next slide, here's what you need to know when you're going down the slope. So I've just explained the first step is getting your boots in the bindings. The second step, getting your skis, looking at them. Third step is putting your boots in the skis while you're on the slopes, which you should be able to figure all that out. And now here we have going down the slope. And this is what we call the pizza, or most people call it the wedge as a more technical term. So you see this guy right here has got his feet angled inward and his poles are out away from his skis by about 6 inches there, and this is proper pizza technique. This is a way to slow down, and this is the way you need to go down slopes all the time when you first start out. Because if you don't slow down when you're going down a slope, you'll increase your speed, and the natural equation for that is more speed equals less control. So here we have this guy going down at a pizza. He's being controlled, he's got his ski poles out, not flailing around, and he's in control of his situation, and most likely he will not crash into anyone. So that's what you want right there. So when you get on the slopes and you're ready to go down that hill and you're at the top, you start going down, but you want to angle your knees in. Use your lower body to angle your feet in like this and kind of push your knees in. Not to necessarily buckle your knees, but make sure the edges of your skis, which are right on to the right of the bindings here, you can see your skis have a little metal contact point, which is called the edge. And usually it's very sharp so that it will grip the ice or snow very well. So with that in mind, use the pizza and slow down and you'll be able to rein in control. Now another part of going down the slopes is your hands. You may ask yourself, well, what do I do with my hands and or ski poles? Because I'm going to assume most people will get ski poles when they try to ski. And what you don't want to do is flail them around all over the place. Because if your ski poles are out here, imagine a pole probably 4 feet long coming out here, waving around, that's going to hit someone. So you don't want to do that. So you want to keep them in front of you, a little bit below your chest, and angled at an angle this way. So your ski poles want to go down here so that they're not hitting anyone and not dragging on the snow. You want them out here, and the best way to do that is to imagine reaching for a cookie jar that's right in front of you. You want to reach for it and have your ski poles right here, and you want to bend your pelvis and keep your knees bent so that you're in control. And now, the last part is falling. A very important part of skiing is falling, because that's what we do most of the time. We run into it'd be nice if we could never fall, but it's inevitable. So here we have a guy falling properly. He's falling perpendicular to the hill, so his skis are horizontal on the hill like this, so that the edges of them will slow him down as he falls, and he falls on his butt, which is very important, because if you fall on your shoulder or your arm or your hand, you're going to damage it. So keep that in mind. That's something you have to acquire naturally, and I guarantee it will come naturally to you if you try. So those are the basic steps of skiing, and I hope you've gotten some good information if you want to start your own, and I hope that was very helpful for you. Thank you.